Hey everyone! So as I mentioned in a previous video, I said that I was going to build videos around the stuff that I bought with the money I got for Christmas. So we're almost done. Instead of doing all those videos right in a row, I've been interspersing them with other kinds of videos, otherwise I would have been done by now. But one of the last few things that I bought with my Christmas money was I got the fairly new Revlon Colorstay Whipped Foundation. And I paid $11.99 for this at Target, which you might as well call it $12. It's 1 penny away. And boy, $12 for a drugstore foundation. Who would have thought? Inflation. So it says on the top of the jar 24 hours. So this is supposed to last 24 hours, but how many people stay up 24 hours to test out their foundation? I'm not going to. When I normally buy foundations, I usually always look at the very lightest ones, and they're usually called something like Classic Ivory or something like that. But my face has gotten darker over the last, I don't know, few years, I guess, because well, I think it's a combination of different things. Spending a little more time outside in the summer and going in the pool. Where we live has a pool, and so I think that, you know, gets you to go outside a lot more. But anyway, my point is, don't just assume, every time you buy a foundation, don't just assume that you're going to be the same color range you were before, because I was pretty surprised when I was testing out, well, I didn't test anything out because there's no testers at drugstores, but I was holding up the jars and really looking at all the colors, and the palest colors in the range were really, really light, and I was like, no way are those gonna match me. So then I started going up and up and up, and the one that matched me the best is called Natural Beige, and I would never normally look at the foundations that had beige in the title. So my point is, just, you know, don't always grab for the same color range that you always do. Look at all of them and really, you know, hold it up and take a good look at it. What I did was, I wasn't really sure because they don't have testers, so I grabbed a couple that I thought might be somewhat right, and then I went over to another part of the store that had mirrors for sale, and I held the foundations up and kind of looked at them near my neck, looked at them near my face, because you don't want to match completely to one or the other. I mean, my face is a lot darker than my neck, so I try to get something in between that's gonna be able to blend a little bit better. Anyways, I digress. So I paid $11.99 for this at Target. Revlon Colorstay Whipped Cream Makeup. And it comes in this really heavy glass jar. You get 0.8 fluid ounces in here. And here's what it looks like. It's a very, very thick consistency. They call it a cream makeup, but really this is definitely not what I would call creamy. This is a great foundation for somebody like me. I have uneven pigmentation, acne, scarring, you name it. I have a lot of different things wrong with my skin that I'm trying to cover up. So this foundation is full coverage. If you don't need a lot of coverage, then you don't need this foundation. You know, go for something lighter, because this is very heavy full coverage foundation. It does not work well with my beauty blender. I tried using the beauty blender with it, and it's just too thick for that. So it really works best with a brush. I use the Sonia Kashuk flat top synthetic brush and just, you know, sort of buff it into my skin, and that works well. Because this is so thick, you need to work quickly, because if it sets before you blend it out, it's not going to look good. However, if you work fast and you only do one little section of your face at a time, then you'll make out fine. A lot of times when I see people put on makeup, I see them put like a dot of makeup on all different parts of their skin, then blend it out. Don't do it that way. Just do one section at a time, because otherwise you're not going to be able to blend it properly. But that aside, what else do you need to know about this? This foundation does not look good with powder over it, because it ends up being way too thick, way too cakey, and just is a big mess. But the good news is you don't need powder. This foundation will do the job all by itself, and it doesn't need powder over it. You can pretty much cover what you want to cover with this foundation. Now, I know I made it sound like there were a lot of negatives to this, but there really aren't. It's just I want to make it clear that this is a full coverage foundation, and anyone who doesn't need a full coverage foundation is probably not going to like this, because it is quite heavy, and you have to be very careful when you're putting it on that you don't put too much on your brush, because then you won't be able to blend it all out. But for me, with all the problems that I have with my skin, this is a great foundation. And I was sort of apprehensive about buying it in the first place, because I don't need any more foundations. I have tons that I need to get through before they go bad. But I couldn't resist. And like I said, you know, everything I bought for Christmas was basically makeup and clothing. So this was one of the things that I had just been dying to try. The color range on this is not huge. They don't have a ton of colors to pick from, but what they do have, I think you could probably find something that would match you. So the choices that they have are pretty good choices. I think that's all there is to say about it. It does last. At the end of the day, when it's time to take off my makeup doesn't look any different than when I started, so it definitely lasts all day. But then again, keep in mind, I have dry skin. When you touch your face with this on, your face doesn't feel like skin, because this is a very heavy foundation. So that might bother some people, but if you want full coverage, that's pretty much what you have to put up with. But yeah, I do like this makeup. I think it looks very nice. I think it looks very natural if I apply it with a brush and am careful not to use too much. So hopefully I covered everything about this foundation for you, and if there's something that I've forgotten, you have a question, leave it in the comments section, and I'll see you next time. Bye, you guys.